Welcome to Traveling with the
Recios.
This is going to be our everything to know about Guatemala Q&A session. We're going to go through different questions on our 14-day trip to Guatemala. So tune in to get all your doubts and questions answered.
Yes, before you travel to Guatemala, which we highly suggest. And we're going to do this basically on every trip. We're going to, at the end of our videos, we're going to do a Q&A so we can answer some of the questions that you guys have. And, you know, maybe in the future when we have a bigger audience, we'll ask them the questions before and then we'll answer them after.
Yeah. And if one of your questions is not answered, make sure to leave a comment below and we'll definitely answer back.
Definitely. Alrighty, guys. So let's talk real quick about the itinerary. Our trip was a 14-day trip. Now, it's a 2-week trip. It's a long time for a country, right?
Yes.
We traveled to 6 different cities. We traveled to Guatemala City, Lanquin, Flores, Riodulce, Antigua, Lakeatitlan, and also playaelparedon in the Pacific. We traveled over 1,000 miles of roads. I drove over 1,000 miles. It has been my longest driving trip ever, and I enjoyed it. It's worth it, and I had a great time. We drove through mountain, jungle. We did river crossings on a car.
Yes.
So that was definitely crazy, and I highly recommend it. So something that surprised you about Guatemala?
I would say the food. The food was just mind-blowing. Even in the, like I think I mentioned in one of the videos, but even in the tiniest little restaurants that you wouldn't think that, you know, will blow you away, everything that came out was just amazing, right?
Yes, the food was delicious in Guatemala.
They just add so many like fresh ingredients to every dish. It's just, honestly, it's an experience, the food on its own. So that really surprised me because I didn't know too much of the Guatemalan cuisine and it really took me by surprise. So
yes, we really enjoyed the food. I gained a couple pounds as always on every trip. But we were very surprised. And for me, it was honestly experiencing the Mayan culture. I was not ready for that. I knew that there was some Mayan culture, obviously because of the history, but I did not expect it to be such an influence. And still, like, it's so deep and dominant in so many cities in most of Guatemala. You know, there's
from the traditional clothing to
everything.
The food.
There's 22 different languages in Guatemala, and in certain places, a lot of places, they don't even speak Spanish. So I didn't even know that. That in certain places in Central America, they don't even speak Spanish. So that took me by surprise. But yeah, different dresses, the way they talk, the way where they live. It was honestly to my surprise, and all that is what we look for. That's what we look for into traveling. So we loved it, and I absolutely loved it.
I did too.
Alrighty, so next question is, would you have done anything different about the itinerary?
Okay. What comes to mind is our stay in Rio Grande.
Riodulce.
Riodulce. So we stayed there 2 nights. I feel like we could have done 1 night there. You know, there's not too much to do. But it ended up working out because we kind of were all sick in that part of the trip. So we rested for 2 days. So that was nice, but I feel like Riodulce, you could do 1 day max. What do you think?
1 day max, or if you're going to Livingston, maybe 2 days.
Which we were, but it didn't work out.
We had planned out to go to Livingston for a whole day, but we were super sick. I was sick. We weren't feeling well. But I think that's the only thing that we will do. Do something different about the itinerary. But regardless, the Petén region, which is the northeast region, is beautiful, and it's a must do. So is 7 days enough time for Guatemala? And you're
No, it's not. Especially if you're gonna go like on a road trip like we did. 7 days is just not enough time. I think 2 weeks was just the perfect time to really get to know the country, you know, see all the regions like Tikal, just amazing. Lakeatitlan is like a whole different experience. The beach, which was, what's the name?
Playaelparedon.
I always forget. Paredon, like that's completely different from like Lakeatitlan and, you know, the Tikal and all that region. So I definitely feel like if you can, do at least 10 days.
Yeah, definitely.
We did 14 days, right?
Definitely 7 days is enough.
Yeah.
It just if you focus on one area,
Exactly.
for example, Antigua and lakeatitlan and Guatemala City. But if you did our travels, you definitely need 2 weeks because at least the Petén region is very far from lakeatitlan and Antigua, and that deserves time itself because it's not. It takes you 7 to 8 hours just to get from city to city. So it takes you a very long time, and it's time consuming.
And there's so much to do in Guatemala. Like every region, you have so much to do that you don't want to kind of rush through.
No, you don't. You want to see tikal, which like I said, it's on the northeast region, but it's far. But you want to see it, and it takes time to get there. And you want to see Flores, which is close by, Riodulce, and then lanquin, which I absolutely love.
Yes.
And like I said, you can go on a 7-day trip and focus on that area. Maybe go another week and focus on the other area. But if you have 2 weeks, it's the perfect time to focus on everything, and you have enough time to basically visit.
You don't feel rushed.
You don't feel rushed. Yes. Alrighty, guys. So the question that we get asked a lot is Guatemala safe?
Yeah. Even like traveling over there, our parents from both sides were a little bit worried. Like, what are you gonna do in Guatemala? Is it even safe? So it was extremely safe. I don't think there's any part of our trip where we felt unsafe, honestly.
No, not one part.
People were so friendly, so kind, so honest. It's honestly been one of our trips where we've felt the safest. And we traveled all over the country.
And this is the trip that we traveled the most out of any country that we've been to. Very rural towns we traveled to. And felt incredibly safe.
Yeah.
Guatemalans are incredibly kind.
Yes.
Super well educated. Okay, and like I said, everything is great about them. We didn't have not one instance where we felt.
And we travel with the kids, so honestly, we're even a little bit more vigilant because we're walking around. We have to keep an eye on the kids, hold their hands, and just throughout the whole trip, it just felt safe.
Super safe.
Yeah.
So we loved Guatemala, and it's super safe for you guys to travel. So don't be scared to travel to Guatemala, guys. Don't listen to the news and stuff like that about bad things going on over there. It's a super safe country. Like I said, always be vigilant, obviously.
Of course.
Don't wear your rings when you go over there. Don't wear fancy clothes, go looking like a normal tourist, right? No.
A normal person.
Normal person, right?
Yeah. We don't go flashy. We don't wear like all this jewelry. No expensive purses. So our next question is is there something that you wish you would have done in Guatemala that you didn't get to do during our 14-day trip?
I mean, we did pretty much everything. The only thing that I regret is not documenting Guatemala City. We visited Guatemala City, and that was at the end of the trip, the last city. We were so tired. I was tired of filming. And I didn't expect it to be that nice, to be honest with you, to document something that would look nice. But to my surprise, I was like taken back, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I did not do a video about Guatemala City, the city itself.
It's so unique.
It is such an awesome place to visit, and it's safe, guys. And it's actually the biggest city in Central America, by the way. Super safe. We went to Plaza Mayor, the Central Park, Ciudad Cayala, which is absolutely amazing. That's the city. It's one of the most expensive areas in all of Central America. It's basically made for the rich. Yeah. But they have shops, they have restaurants.
They have a cathedral, like a modern day cathedral. Yes. So it looks like from back in the day, but it was just built not, maybe like some years ago. Yeah. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all. Absolutely did not expect it. And I wish I could have filmed it. I wish I could have shown you guys what Guatemala City has to offer. But you definitely have to visit Guatemala City and spend some time there.
At least 2 days.
Yes, because it's 100% worth visiting and seeing for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So next question. Did you hire any tours?
What do you think? If you've seen our videos, what do you think? The answer is no, we did not. No. He's against tours.
Yes, I am. No, I mean, the only one we did was she did a free walking tour in Antigua, which we definitely recommend. Yes, she had a great time.
Absolutely.
But no, you don't need a tour, guys.
Yeah. Just do your research, plan out your trip, every day, and you'll be fine.
Look at our videos, guys. You can plan out your itinerary by looking at our videos. Everything that we did was by me doing research on Google, and that's it. Looking at other people's videos, and that's how I plan my itinerary. So no, you do not need to hire any tours. Well, I did hire a tour when I went to the volcano.
Yes,
but that's because
true.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get lost. You
don't want to hike the volcano by yourself.
I don't want to get lost up there. So.
And that was incredible, right? The tour company was amazing.
Amazing tour company. I'll put the link in there so you guys can visit that too.
Mm-hmm. So next question: what is the best way to get around Guatemala?
Car, guys. You need to rent a car, and I don't think you have an you can get around in buses, and you can pay.
Don't they call them chicken buses?
Yeah, chicken buses, but there's also private buses you can pay that people pay, and they're a little bit obviously more expensive than chicken buses. Mm-hmm. But renting a car is the way to go, and you need to rent a car because it takes a while to get from place to place. It takes time to get from place to place.
And we talked to some locals, and the chicken buses are not very reliable.
No,
they could be late. They could take long.
They're not comfortable. They're called chicken buses for a reason because you're cramped up in there.
Especially if you're traveling with kids.
No, it's
not a good idea.
No, and honestly, the car rental is super cheap. Yeah. We wasted in the car rental. It was $394 for 12 days renting a car. And that's with partial insurance, which is required in Guatemala. So it wasn't super expensive for 12 days, guys.
And honestly, the roads felt safe.
Super safe.
The roads were like super well paved. I think there was only one instance where like the road was a little bit. It was like a really big ditch in the road.
Yeah, but that's because I took the wrong way.
We took the off.
Yeah, I took the wrong way, the wrong GPS way. But then I turned back.
But that's it. All the other roads were paved.
Everything is paved in Guatemala, guys. Yeah. If you're taking a road that's not paved, it's because you took the wrong.
There's a lot of speed bumps, right?
Yeah, a lot of tomalos,
which is the speed bumps. They're everywhere, and you have to pay attention because it feels like you're gonna fly off.
You will take your front bumper off if you don't stop.
Okay, so our next question: what is the best time of the year to visit Guatemala with regards to the weather and also like festivals?
All right, so we went in March. So we went in the dry season. Dry season is from November to April, and then rainy season is from May to October. It didn't rain not one time while we were over there. The weather was perfect. But then the Northeast region is very, very, very hot. Very hot, very humid. Yep. And then you go to the other region, Antigua, and the mountainous area, and it's more cooler. It's actually really cool at night. You need like a light sweater. Yeah, nice. But you definitely want to. We went in March and we went in Semana Santa,
that was nice. Holy Week.
Which is Holy Week. Mm-hmm. So, and it was amazing to watch the processions. And that's another thing that I did not know, that Guatemala, they take very serious their Holy Week. Yeah. And their processions, and every town literally has processions, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful festival that they do, and it's something incredible to watch. So yeah, it was definitely worth it 100% to see those processions.
The whole Antigua, they just show up to the festival. Everybody plays a role. You have the band and the dancers and the people carrying the
huge
saints, and it was just beautiful to watch.
Yes, definitely 100% guaranteed going in March. Alrighty, so what are the visa requirements for traveling to Guatemala as a U.S. citizen?
None. We didn't need a visa. We didn't need any special permission.
You did not need to pay anything when you go into the airport. Yeah.
I don't even think we filled out anything in the plane or anything. So it was very friendly, very tourist friendly.
Okay. So what precautions should I take regarding food and water safety in Guatemala?
Should I answer that? Because I am so picky about that. So definitely bottled water. Food, I guess we're a little bit adventurous with food. So we will stop at like roadside places where we see like people grilling, but obviously we always like to take a look to see like what they're preparing looks fresh, if they're preparing it well, if it's well cooked. So I feel like with that
with the food it's completely fine. It's the water, guys. Honestly, if you don't drink bottled water in Guatemala, that's the only thing that wasn't positive about the trip, is that we had a couple instances where we didn't drink bottled water and we got super sick, guys.
Yeah, and it could have been avoided because, for example, if you stay in Airbnb, sometimes they have these huge containers that say filtered water. So it's like this container made of stone, and it filters the water.
Yes.
But that you need to swap it out
every 2 years, they told us.
Yeah, 2 years? Was it 2 years? I thought it was months.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that they're doing it correctly. Our first, one of our first hosts, he was, he was very thorough. He explained to us that, the filter is good. We can drink that water. So that was fine. But on our last day in Playaelparedon, we didn't really talk to anyone. And they just had the big container that said filter, but we don't know how long it had been there.
We drank the water.
So we drank the water, and sure enough, the next day, we were all running to the bathroom every 2 seconds. It was really terrible, bad. Terrible, like bad.
And even when we got back home, it took us a good 4 or 5 days to get back to normal because our stomachs were messed up pretty good because of the water. It wasn't because of the food; it was just the water. So we highly recommend that you guys only drink bottled water. Period. Don't drink the water from the filters because you just don't know
whether it says it's filtered.
No,
drink your bottled water.
Drink bottled water, guys.
Be safe, because that could ruin the trip.
100%. It almost ruined our trip. So.
Except it was at the very end of the trip, so we were fine. But it was bad. And it was just like the kids and us running to the bathroom every 2 minutes. So next question. What are the must-see attractions in Guatemala?
Basically everything. You have lanquin, which is Semuc Champey, which is actually absolutely incredible. You have Flores, which you have Tikal. And then you have Antigua itself. The city is incredible. Lakeatitlan. You have volcanoes around everywhere, basically, that you can do hiking. And then you have Lakeatitlan, which is one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen.
Sorry, guys. I've had a long day. That's why
it's 11 o'clock at night, by the way, here. And
we've worked today, so we're a little tired. But I'm not bored. I'm just tired.
So Lakeatitlan is absolutely incredible. And playaelparedon, seeing the Pacific was...
The sunsets are just
the sunsets were magical and incredible.
And it was such a nice way to close up the trip.
Yes, definitely.
At the beach.
Right. What are the best outdoor activities in Guatemala?
We did so much. So I would say definitely exploring, obviously, whether it's tikal or going to Semuc Champey and just getting in the water. It's just so much to do. What do you think?
There's so much to do in Guatemala, guys. You have no idea. Guatemala's not a huge country, but there's just so much to do. Just going to Semuc Champey itself, you go, just to drive itself, and then you hike up to the Mirador, and then you go down to the river, which is absolutely beautiful. And just so much to do, so much hiking, so much sightseeing, so
Antigua.
Much beauty.
I keep forgetting about Antigua, but that was such a beautiful place to just walk around. Yes. There's so much history, and it's so safe. Like, that's the part of the trip where I stayed alone with the kids for a day and a half, and we're walking around at night, going to dinner, going early in the morning to breakfast. Like, it's just so beautiful. And Antigua itself, like the food there is just incredible.
Okay. All right. So now talking about the food, how is the local cuisine like in Guatemala?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit already, but why not? So let's talk about it again. Yeah. Amazing.
Tortillas, and every single dinner or breakfast or lunch, you have tortillas at every time, and they're so good. They're delicious.
They are so good. They're like the best tortillas.
Chicharrones, which are pork rinds, the best chicharrones we have eaten ever. We're Cuban, and we eat a lot of pork, a lot of chicharrones, and let me tell you, Guatemalans, they absolutely beat the Cubans in that. Yeah, it is delicious.
Fried to perfection.
Fried to perfection.
Amazing.
The chicken is so moist, so
everything
good.
Is just so tasty because everything is so natural, and they use a lot of onions, like the little green onions in all their dishes. Yeah. Just so fresh.
The only thing I can say is that Guatemalans' portions are small compared to other Central American countries where you get a huge plate of food. Guatemalans' portions are very small.
So they do put a little bit of everything. Their plate is very like, you have your beans, you have your rice, you have your meat, you have your veggies. You could even have like a side of like spaghettis we had in I think that was in Petén, right? So a little bit of everything, just small portions, which in some countries, like in Central American countries, and even like, for example, we're Cuban, it's like huge portions of everything. Sometimes too much.
It was nice. It was good.
Yeah.
What should I pack for a trip to Guatemala considering its climate and terrain?
Definitely comfortable clothing. So, you know, obviously your bathing suits, if you're gonna do, for example, Semuk Champey and water like lakeatitlan, shorts, maybe like a few just t-shirts. If you're gonna go hiking, just like regular pants, hiking pants.
Comfortable clothes, and then a light sweater. Just one light sweater is enough. You don't need anything unless I went hiking to Acatenango, and yes, I did need like a thermal sweater because it was freezing up there, like absolutely freezing. But other than that, if I didn't have to go to hiking, like if I didn't have to hike a volcano, then a light sweater is completely fine for the time being.
And if you go to Antigua, obviously you want the pretty picture with the dresses, so definitely there's so many like picture opportunities there where you can just wear a pretty dress and take your picture.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the average cost traveling to Guatemala, including the food, the accommodations, transportation? What do you think?
Yeah, Guatemala wasn't expensive. The average meal, like in very local places where we like to eat, the meals aren't expensive. They're like $3-4 a plate, maybe $5 a plate. Maybe in the other nicer restaurants, the plates are $10 to $15, but it doesn't get more expensive than that. I'm sure, you know, you can go to super nice restaurants and you're paying high-end price, just like anywhere in the world, guys. But you know, we like to try local places, and it's not expensive at all.
The food never disappoints. It's always fresh and amazing. So
accommodations, guys, anything $50 and up. Basically, all the Airbnbs and all the hotels that we stayed, it was, you know, around the $50-$75 range. Maybe the other nicer places were like $150 in the beach, but it's 100% worth it.
Absolutely,
it's 100% worth spending the money. And the car rental, like I said, was basically $400 for 12 days, so super affordable. And the total trip, guys, to Guatemala was for 14 days, $4,300. So it wasn't super cheap, right? Obviously, but it wasn't crazy expensive for a 14-day trip, traveling to 6 different cities, traveling over 1,000 miles, doing hiking, doing water activities, lake activities. We did eating out every day. That's with everything, guys. Everything.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Everything, guys.
We didn't cook at all.
That's including the flight, everything for our trip. So $4,300 for 14 days, super affordable, and we did not stop doing things in Guatemala. Every day was something new. So much to see, so much to do. We 100% recommend going to Guatemala.
Absolutely.
So the last question. What was your overall experience of Guatemala?
My experience was that it's definitely a country that will surprise you because there's just so much to do and the culture is just so rich. I mean, I was blown away. I felt like I was living in another time period. It's something to definitely experience and you won't be disappointed. And take the kids because it's so safe.
Yeah, it's literally like traveling back in time. Because just a lot of people still live the lifestyle like the Mayan used to live, and that absolutely surprised me, and I love to see that. And it was such an awesome trip. Guatemalans are so nice, guys.
So friendly,
and like I said, they're so well educated. Okay,
we loved talking to locals.
Yes, and you know, if I know Guatemala, the name itself does not sound friendly, but it's such an amazing country. And honestly, I have very few countries that I would like to go back to, and I would love to go back to Guatemala in the future because there's still so much to see and so much to do there. And we had a great time. Y muchas gracias por todas las personas mirando el video, todos los guatemaltecos que nos hicieron los comentarios. Lo pasamos excelente en su país, nos encantó. Toda la gente de Centroamérica también poniendo los comentarios. Lo pasamos súper bien. Nos encantó Guatemala, las personas, todo. Y se los recomendamos a todas las personas que vayan a Guatemala, visiten a Guatemala y vean la cultura de Guatemala. Y fuimos con los niños y los niños le encantaron también. De verdad, nos encantó el viaje absolutamente. Y sí, vamos a visitar en el futuro otra vez a Guatemala.
Y una parte de nosotros compartir estos videos es leer los comentarios que nos han puesto. Nos encanta leer las memorias que han compartido con nosotros de ciertos lugares que hemos grabado. Muchísimas gracias y como él dijo, nos encantó Guatemala y ojalá podamos regresar algún día.
Sí. with all that said, thank you for traveling with the Recios, and make sure to, if you have any questions or anything, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. We'll answer your comments.
And we'll see you on our next adventure.
Bye.